All right, let's go. Things are getting so crazy, I feel like I don't even know what's going on anymore. Markets are down.
Be Ethereum or Bitcoin. It could be Trump coin, Mongoose coin, or Skippity toilet coin.
Our government is corrupt. Our representatives have no clue what they're talking about.
Ceasefire means that somebody sees a fire. It could be any kind of fire. It could be a big fire or a small fire, a bonfire or even a candle flame. It just matters that somebody sees a fire. That's why we call it a ceasefire.
This country is so divided, we can't even eat the same kind of sandwich. So I'm gonna do my best to address the elephant in the room. I know you all come here for answers to all the most pressing questions.
She's a 10, but she has pronouns in her Instagram bio.
Oh, that's not a 10. That's a walk-in HR department.
Why do you say that?
You know, every date with her is like a ethics seminar with girls like that. So I like to use the approach I started called the AWA method. You ask yourself, is the ass worth the arguments? Spoiler alert, it's not.
Sometimes you may not like all the answers.
You look familiar.
Yeah. You watch gay porn?
So let the record reflect that Spartacus did not answer the question.
By now, you all know this is not a place where we like to gloat about accomplishments. You never know exactly what you're gonna find out. In all honesty though, it just feels like people are getting dumber by the day.
If I'm in second place and you pass me, what place are you in?
First.
It's definitely harder when people don't get that they don't get it, but as the wise man once said,
sometimes the best way to get back on your feet is to get up off your ass.
So maybe all we need to do is take some advice from the squirrels and continue to do the necessary work.
I'm not even playing right now. I'll deport all these bitches myself if I have to. I don't care if AOC won't be able to clean my house no more. I'll deport that bitch back to Guatemala myself. And Ilhan Omar, she's gone, along with the brother that she's banging that she apparently married, because that's how they do it in friggin' Africa or wherever the hell she's from.
I know some of you will watch this and say,
what an asshole this guy is.
But just calm down and take an extra dose of your medicine. Maybe you want to cool down with a couple laps in the pool. I'm just excited to use my new keyboard to respond to all the libtards. However, if you leave me a comment that is this long, just know I'm not going to read it. So even though this week has been long and exhausting, and maybe I'd rather be out showing off my insane athletic abilities in a place where I can dance like no one is watching, the weekend is almost here and we can start to let loose. But at the end of the day, you'll find me on the couch playing that new Madden 26. Check this out from Ripple Prez, Monica Long. Big milestone, RLUSD is now recognized under Dubai's world-class DFSA regime, meaning it can be fully integrated into Ripple payments. We also saw this. Ripple strikes major deal. Germany's DZ Bank goes live with XRP custody. The article notes that Ripple is quietly integrating into traditional finance, positioning XRP at the core of tokenized securities and CBDC infrastructure. Chinese firm Webus files with US SEC to raise $300 million for XRP Treasury plan and Ripple payments integration. Also, Coinbase launches its wrapped XRP and Dogecoin on their base blockchain. And this is pretty wild. Here's how Genius Stablecoin Bill could take XRP to $250. This article references a post from Chad Steingraber, who suggests the Genius Stablecoin Bill could drive XRP to $250 by providing regulatory clarity and boosting international trust. The bill, requiring stablecoins to be backed by cash or treasury bills, may enhance XRP's adoption via Ripple's RLUSD, increasing demand and liquidity. All right, let's take a look at some of the other top headlines.
We will start voting on the Genius Act, the stablecoin bill, this week. I don't think we're going to complete it this week. We'll probably have to go into next week because a number of amendments will be filed.
My X timeline has been nothing but this for 2 days. But it's good to see that the Democrats are not trying to scare the American people.
And we all know one thing. Donald Trump is just lying about the bill. Lying about the bill. Well, here's the We Are All Going to Die Act.
To me, it seems like this is the only decision that makes sense.
I can end the deficit in 5 minutes. You just pass a law that says that anytime there's a deficit of more than 3% of GDP, all sitting members of Congress are ineligible for re-election.
But we also need to consider the wise words of Milton Friedman.
Keep your eye on one thing and one thing only, how much government is spending. Because that's the true tax. Every budget is balanced. There is no such thing as an unbalanced federal budget. You're paying for it. If you're not paying for it through it in the form of explicit taxes, you're paying for it indirectly in the form of inflation or in the form of borrowing. The thing you should keep your eye on is what government spends.
Robinhood acquires Bitstamp in a $200 million deal.
It's a perfect metaphor for California. Spend all the money there is. Nothing ever comes out the other end. And I'm sorry, but you are not a first world nation if you cannot build a train line in 2025.
Harsh words, but I feel like Gavin Newsom's response was perfect.
And everything in the Democrats' playbook is denial, which takes all of the person's mental and energy. It's no different than a dysfunctional family.
Democrats have become like a royal family that, because of so much incest, has unfortunately had children who are retarded.
95% of all Bitcoin's been mined, but 95% of the world doesn't own Bitcoin. So I just think that there's still a huge demand versus supply imbalance, meaning there's a lot more potential buyers of Bitcoin over the next 10 years. And so I think there's a lot of upside into year end.
I have a different view. I'd like to congratulate Democrats for ridding yourselves of this untalented mediocrity. I mean, this is the most self-aggrandizing liar that has ever held this job. The White House press secretary is a sacred position, and she stood up there for years and lied through her teeth to the American people.
My friend,
and
she's not the first.
She is the literal worst White House press secretary in my lifetime. And what she did in the last year and a half of the Biden administration, cheap fakes, the entire cover-up around the president's mental faculties, she was in the center of it.
Everyone is now looking to capitalize on Joe Biden's mental health while president. Even 20th Century Fox is looking to release a new comedy, Weekend at Joe's. Biden-appointed Judge Gordon Gallagher blocked the deportation of Mohammed Solomon's family. Mohammed Solomon is the terrorist who was lighting people on fire in Boulder, Colorado. And sure, we can talk about how the judge's head looks like the messed up wheel on your shopping cart at the market, but I also want to know how we know everything about Mohammed Solomon in 3 days, yet we know nothing about Thomas Crooks in 330 days. Well, actually, I guess we know one thing about him. Representative Becca Balint tells you the real reason we need to allow people to illegally enter the country.
I'm going to be really crude right now. We're not going to have anybody around and wipe our asses because we don't have enough people.
And I know Democrats think they're very funny going around saying Taco Trump, but who thought eating Taco Bell was a good idea for Eric Swalwell?
What the fuck is up with Trump always chickening out on tariffs?
So you know I'll be watching, and I'll keep you updated with any new information. In a world divided, we need to find the little things that we can all agree on. Some people just want to point fingers, but I think it may be time for us to get back to the basics. Personally, I just want everyone to be happy.
When I get my food stamps, I buy food with my food stamps. I like to buy Pepsi because that's what I drink. Pepsi. I buy 2-liter Pepsis every time I go to the market. And I like snacks. I like to snack. The kids like to snack. So who is you to tell us that we can't buy Pepsis and sodas with our stamps?
Different women have different fantasies.
If the ramen noodle haircut is your style, then go for it. But if I can give you one piece of advice, it would be this.
Come on, man. Don't be a pussy.
And if you have a couple more minutes, you may also like this video right here. Ripple CEO issues massive warning to XRP holders. Until the next time, be safe.